Aloha, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Jessica's channel. Today I'm going to talk about being of service and what that means and what that looks like in our society in particular, and what that looks like as a woman and as as a man too in our society and in the way that we give to others, our brothers and sisters. So let's start right in. So being of service really means that we are worthy enough to give of ourselves, to know that we live in this beautiful world and everything that we see around us was man-made, and it was made through love. Everything was created through love, either because someone wanted to share a product, a gift, a word, a saying. They wanted to share love, and that's what God showed us that we have within us, and that is what is worth sharing and showing, and that is the good news. It's about giving love and sharing love and using those gifts and that labor of love to give to one another, to bless one another, and to know that you are worthy of service, you're worthy of giving and of receiving. And when we realize that we're worthy of giving, we realize that we are valuable. God blessed us all with beautiful gifts, and we have everything that we need within us, and it's going to take baby steps. It's going to take us step by step to get us into what God has called us to do. But in those steps and in that way that we walk towards God, towards love, it's about recognizing that in doing so, we are being obedient and we are giving. And I just want to make it so clear and just let you know just how important the consequences are of your actions and you being who you are. Because when you also, giving is also about giving to yourself, right? It's about receiving and giving to yourself. It's about knowing that you are worthy of giving yourself love, and you're worthy of giving others love, and you're worthy of that receiving that love. Because every action makes yourself. Every single micro action, every single thing that you do, every action speaks volumes for who you are. Every action that you take is really about the timeline that you're on. It's about every brick that you're building. It's about every tile on the path that you are building. That's what being your best self is. That's what it means, giving the best of yourself. Giving the best of yourself in every situation. Giving the best of yourself in every scenario. Giving the best of yourself even when you don't feel like it. Giving the best of yourself to yourself, even when you're having a bad day, even when you feel more annoyed than usual. It's about being compassionate to yourself. It's about loving yourself. It's about examining your thoughts and detaching from the harshness of the day and realizing that you don't have to carry it, that you can give yourself peace of mind, and that you can give yourself rest in love, and knowing that God is always there to shield you and to cover you, and that you can always come to God with your problems, with anything that is hurting you or bothering you, and knowing and trusting that God has gifted you with your unique gifts. And it's believing in that, believing in God, believing that you are worthy of serving Him, of serving God, and of being in this beautiful meditative state of prayer when you're creating and all the time. It's about getting outside of your mind and not thinking, letting go of those thoughts, and being in constant prayer and constant thank you to God, and knowing that in His peace and His love you are unafraid. Perfect love casts out all fear. It's about creating that heaven on earth, and we do that with God by our side and in our heart and in our minds. And it's about speaking His word. It's about giving that encouragement. It's about realizing that when we walk this path and when we connect to things that resonate with our heart, it's because other people are writing it and speaking things for you and for themselves. It's because they are creating things that they wish were created. They are creating things that they wish they would want to see in the world, that connect them to love, that remind them that love is true, that remind them of all of the truth in this world, which is that only love is real. Everything else is an illusion. God is the only truth. And when we see things in a very fearful way, we're not seeing it in a really realistic way, because as we know, fear blinds us. Fear is very blinding. It's there's shadow there. And it's about us turning on that light and taking our power back. There's so much power in fear. And when you're able to speak up for yourself, when you're able to be stern and confident and stand firm in your truth, you're able to be the best version of yourself, and that is a blessing for you, and that is a blessing for everyone else. It's about you loving yourself so much and being so in touch with your heart and yourself that it truly is you being the most loving and best self you could possibly be. And that means being with God. That means giving of yourself. That means not judging other people for those stories that you're telling about them in your mind. It means letting them be free and seeing them for who they are, and knowing that they are also living and learning throughout this life, and just like you are, and that you are also living and learning with them. And you give them grace, you give them love, because you give yourself grace and you give yourself love. And you would want someone else to do that for you when you're having maybe a bad day, or when you just aren't feeling it. So it's about giving and sharing of yourself, because the right people will always connect to you. When you shine your light, when you give from your heart with no expectation, just a full heart, you really are able to see what a blessing you are, and what a blessing it is to give, because you feel so overjoyed. You feel such a joy to be able to help those around you, your brothers and sisters, to see that they also have so much joy, and that this world is so worth living in the arms of God, and that love is real and it's the only truth, and we get to live this life, and we get to do it unafraid. We might feel fear once in a while, but we get to live fearlessly. That is what we came here to do, to be your true, authentic self. And when you give of yourself, your truth, your love, when you give from that loving place, you also give others the permission to love and receive you, and for people to really see you. And when you start doing this, and when you start really giving, you'll see that you will get that times tenfold in return. You'll really be able to see how the truth behind all of this, that when you give love, you are love, and you can only receive love. It's about knowing that God truly is real. He loves us, He protects us, and it's just us that get in our own way. It's our mind that gets in our own way, our thoughts. And I say this so often, and I'm going to constantly remind you, because we can often forget, and our mind needs to constantly be renewed. But it's about letting go of those attachments, letting go of those old stories. God made you perfect just the way you are. It's about really praying that God uproots any seeds that were not planted by Him, that were planted by society, by people who didn't know better also. But now you know better, and now you can choose things for yourself, and you can clear out the noise, and you can really be aligned with your truth. And it's easy. It just takes you being present and being in the moment. And I say it's easy because you can only think one thought, and it's about you being present in the moment and choosing love, and setting your intention that no matter what comes your way, you will always connect to love, and you will always see it in the most beautiful way. And it's knowing that God has blessed us with endurance, with the spirit of courage and growth, and that discomfort that comes from situations that help us grow are the best thing that could ever happen to us, because we are always going up with God. Yes, there may be, some things that we might feel low about. It's not about feeling happiness. That's not the intention. That's not the goal. That's not the wisdom that love offers, that God offers. It's about being at peace. It's about knowing that whatever you experience, you're meant to experience, and that it's going to be a beautiful journey no matter what, because everything that comes your way is God sending it to you, and there's something beautiful to learn from it. And if you were attaching to it, you have the option, you have the power to detach from it and say, no, that's not me. I choose something else. Thank you for showing me that reflection. I choose to be in the true presence of love, light, and forgiveness. And when we truly give of ourselves, there will be self-doubt that happens, right? We will question some things that come up. Or can I really do this? Did God really bless me with this gift? And there will be things that we need to pull out that are in the way of becoming our best selves, but that's okay. That's the whole process. It just takes one step at a time, and you just examine it and you nurture it. You give it so much love, and you shine light on it. You shine the love and light that God gave you, and you realize that, wait, God made you to succeed. God made you to play. God made you to have fun. God made you to experience this beautiful life. And if you love it, that's what God wants you to do. And it's not saying that you won't make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. That's totally going to happen. You're human. Our mistakes are the best things that happen to us. They help us see things, and they help us remember and learn quicker because they sting a little bit more. Or not even sting, but they help us wake us up from that old pattern quicker. And it's a beautiful thing to learn from a mistake. There's nothing wrong with failure. There is no such thing as failure. It's just a lesson or a success. So in becoming your best self and being fruitful and giving the best of yourself and being the absolute most beautiful, divine spirit that God has sent you here to be, and to really embodying that spirit, embody the healing, is to know that you're worthy of it all, and that everyone around you is a mirror, and that you want to receive the best from others, so you become that example. It's about changing within first. So being of service and giving the best of yourself. And really in this society, we often hear a lot about laziness and how, anti-capitalism this, or I wasn't made to work, I was made to live on the beach in the sand. And I thought that way too for a while, but I realized that is not, there's no purpose in that. I realized that for me, the purpose that I found was giving of myself and being of service and giving love and sharing the beautiful things that I've learned and that God has helped me through. And that's the wisdom that I have to share today. It is doing and giving with no expectation and being of service to everyone around you. Because I don't know about you, but when I go to restaurants, I love to be served delicious food where, the chef has worked on his craft, its quality, the environment is beautiful, the decorations, the whole experience is wonderful, the host is warm and lively and just welcomes me in with such a warm aroma. It smells good. It's about this beautiful experience. That's the world that I want to live in. That it's healthy and it's good for me and it tastes good and it just feels good. That's the world that I want to live in. So I want to also give that to myself and know that it takes process. God is always working through us and pruning us and making us the best that we can. It's never going to be a one-time fix-all type of thing. No, we're always working, and we're going to have days that we don't want to, but it's about working through and pushing those boundaries and pushing past those days where we might not want to do certain things. So the scripture that I am going to read is Romans 12:10. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourself. Knowing that everyone around you is your brother and sister, and the way that you treat them is the way that you're treating yourself. 1 Peter 4:10 through 11. Each of you should use whatever gifts you have received to serve others, and faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. Do not be slothful in zeal. Be fervent in spirit. Serve the Lord. Know that when you're serving others, you're serving God. You're serving love, knowing that you're giving so much of yourself and it feels so good, and that you want to connect to that love because you're worthy of giving and you're worthy of receiving as well. Because you get what you give. You always get what you put in. And the next one that I'm going to read is Mark 10:45. For even the Son of Man came not to serve, even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as ransom for many. As we know, God is a Jesus is a great example of being selfish and of giving so fully of yourself. And just like we are children of God, sons of God, we are a son of man, we also came here to serve and to give others and to share the good news with others and to share our gifts and our light with others, because we know that it is such a blessing to be with God and to have that firm foundation in a world that can be rocky and that can be unpredictable, because we know that with God there is truth. There's only one truth, and that truth is love. I hope that was helpful. I have faith that you will connect to your gifts and see in all the ways that you can give to your community, to yourself, to others, and to be of service. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I love you all. I will see you next time. Bye.